Rankings in Salmon Run can be a somewhat controversial topic. Players seem to be pushed up into ranks that they're unprepared for, and at the same time, Executive VP players get reset to 40 out of the possible 999 points. This seems like a recipe for disaster, given that all players are being pigeonholed into the same rank. There is a method to the madness though, and I'll explain what that is in this video. If you don't already have a theory, I'll give you a hint. It's related to the king salmonids, but let's get to it. Anyone familiar with Salmon Run in Splatoon 2 knows that the previous highest rank, Professional, had rank checkpoints so that player rank was retained somewhat between rotation. The checkpoints were set at every 100 points up to Professional 400, which meant that players could keep a higher pay grade between Salmon Run rotations. Splatoon 3, on the other hand, has a highest rank named Executive VP, but player rank is always reset to 40 points. That means that at the start of a Salmon Run rotation, all players, regardless of EVP rank in the previous rotation, are put into the same pool. This causes the more skilled players to potentially have teammates who are not experienced enough or otherwise unprepared for the difficulty of this rank. While it seems like a problem, this is where I'm going to argue that this is by design rather than by accident. Something that Splatoon 3 has, unlike Splatoon 2, is a variety of cosmetic items that can be unlocked with fish scales that come in bronze, silver, and gold rarities. These scales are earned by fighting a king salmonid after the combined Salmometer is filled enough. These are the two elements for the design decision of the ranking system in Splatoon 3. Splatoon 2 had very limited rewards beyond the 1200 points needed to get both super bonuses. After this, there wasn't much point in playing other than to increase your rank. For a lot of players, that meant it was time to stop once this was achieved. Splatoon 3 has a very similar system for the rewards, but the fish scales make all the difference. Because the Salmometer usually needs to be partially filled by all crew members, it gives incentive to continue playing with the same team. This was a good addition because it keeps crew members playing together, which means you spend less time waiting for teammates between matches. It also discourages players from quitting just because of one loss, but it does come with some negative side effects. The ranking system in Splatoon 3 is designed to keep players in the game longer. If you look at Splatoon 2's checkpoint system for rankings, it meant that you could get more points faster when you start playing a new rotation. This was a good thing given how the rewards were given out for the mode, but it meant players weren't playing for long. There was no carrot on a stick, so to speak. And that's why players are pigeonholed into Executive VP 40 at the start of a rotation. If a player was at Professional 400 in Splatoon 2, they earn Grisco points at a rate of about 2.9 times the amount. In Splatoon 3, the equivalent EVP rank would earn points at a rate of about 2.7 times. This made a lot of sense for Splatoon 2, given that Grisco points were slower to earn. The new mechanics introduced, such as the squid roll and throwing eggs, made it possible to collect many more golden eggs each wave. Something had to change. But let's do some quick math to show what I mean. The calculation for Grisco points are as follows. Your pay grade is calculated by adding a base of 2.3 to your rank, divided by 50, multiplied by 0.05. That's how we get the value of 2.7 for EVP 400. At the end of a match, this number is multiplied by the total number of golden eggs plus the power eggs divided by 200, then either 0 for a loss, 50 for completing 3 waves, or 100 for defeating a king salmonid is added on top. In Splatoon 2, a typical round of Salmon Run at Professional 400 might only give between 200 and 250 Grisco points. That meant 5 to 6 victories were usually required to get the 1200 points. So now that we have those calculations out of the way, let's get back to why there aren't checkpoints in Splatoon 3. As a rough estimate, getting 38 golden eggs per round, or 114 total, would get a player to 1200 points in 3 matches if a checkpoint system existed. That's no good. That means less playing time rather than more. So the Salmometer was created to keep players playing for just one more match, and then just one more match, and then just one more match. You get the idea. But if players already got the 1200 Grisco points before getting a king salmonid, they might just skip it and stop playing. So they made sure it would be unlikely to get to 1200 points before the Salmometer fills up enough to fight the king salmonid. At this point, players could be finished with the super bonuses, but the filled Salmometer incentivizes playing until the king salmonid spawns. So very quickly, the Grisco points earned for EVP 40 per round would be at minimum around 260, which means 5 rounds would need to be played to get to 1200 points. Even if the players do considerably better than the minimum, it still takes 4 rounds. A total of 130 golden eggs still requires 4 matches at minimum when starting at EVP 40, but in either case, the king salmonid is likely to be encountered after 4 or 5 matches with the same team. So then the final bit to the calculus is this: the best players would have a much easier time getting fish scales if there was a checkpoint system for EVP being matched with each other. The less experienced players would have a significantly harder time earning them, so the better players would get all the rewards much quicker and then have less incentive to play Salmon Run. The lower ranked players would potentially be discouraged or feel hopeless about ever earning enough to get the item they wanted. Pushing players up into EVP along with resetting the ranks to 40 solves this problem in a manner of speaking. The best players have to play alongside the more typical players. This helps the players with less experience or knowledge to earn more fish scales than they would have been able to, as well as learn from the better players. And it slows the best players down so that they aren't earning fish scales at too great a pace. So what the hell am I even talking about at this point? The ranking system is working as intended. I never said I agree with it, nor did I say that it couldn't be improved, but as it stands, this is the reasoning for why things are the way they are. The Salmon Run ranking system in Splatoon 3 has 2 main purposes that I think it is accomplishing. Number 1, it gives more players a better chance at gaining fish scales. Some players do have to carry the weight of the mode on their shoulders though. And the other reason is that it keeps players playing for longer. Everyone starts at the same rank, earning fish scales at the same rate. So players that want to try for more in one day have to play for longer. Then it keeps players who maybe aren't doing so well that day to keep playing just one more match to try to get the king salmonid to spawn. But the design of the ranking system and king salmonids have so much synergy, which is purposefully crafted to keep players engaged with the game longer. And for games like Splatoon, player engagement is a big indicator of success. Let me know what you think. Does any or all of this make any sense? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. And as always, good luck and good fishing.